Okay, tonight we're going to talk about fungus, and I'm going to be going in and out with my YouTube thing because I'm told by Spirit I got to get this stuff out on YouTube so people can watch 5 to 10 minute segments of my lectures. Fungus is what we're going to talk about tonight. I put the 5 different kingdoms of the basically of the living things on the planet. We have the plant kingdom, we have the animal kingdom, which are the 2 main ones we look at, but then we've got the fungal kingdom. It has a kingdom all its own. And then there's the kingdom of the bacteria and viruses, and then there's the kingdom of parasites. And it's very interesting how you look at these things. Fungus has to live on something that has life in it. In other words, fungus can't survive by itself. It has to have organic material to feed on. It was probably plant-based before it became a parasite, and it has a cell wall just like plants. So it's very difficult to kill using, the regular things, but there's many things that we can use to kill fungus. And fungus has a body with a cell wall, and then it has these little hyphae that it sticks out from itself. Rhizosomes, hyphae, whatever you want to call them. What they are, they're little straws that they stick into substances, and they suck the life force out of it if it's alive. And if it's dead, it just kind of feeds off of it, feeds off the dead material. And fungus has various forms that it takes. It reproduces in all kinds of ways. It can actually take a hyphae. If you break off the hyphae can grow a brand new fungus. So, and then they create spores, and they get encysted. And the spores and molds and different things, they can float in the air, and we can breathe them into our lungs. In fact, most fungal infections are due to these spores landing on different things, and they start growing when it becomes moist, and they start getting the environment good. But when you think about it, if you breathe them into your lungs or into your nose, a lot of those spores get in, and they start growing because it's moist in our lungs and in our nasal passages, and they can also get into our gut. Now, one of the best things to stop fungus from getting into our system is the acidity of the stomach. It can actually burn up that cell wall and destroy it. But many, many, many humans, especially here in the United States, are on antacid type material or pharmaceuticals to keep their acid down, and that's your basic protection from getting fungus into your gut. Really? So, yeah, it's amazing. Our industry has actually created a better environment for the fungus to get into our digestive system. And it does get into our lungs and starts growing in our lungs. Now, if you think about it, and I've made this statement many, many times, 100 years ago, the average American would eat about 4 pounds of sugar per person per year. Now we're up to 150 pounds of sugar per person per year. What has that huge amount of sugar created? Well, number one, it's raised our levels of sugar within our blood and within our lungs, and makes a better environment to grow fungus, molds, spores, the different varieties. Now, one of the worst of these that gets in our bodies is called Candida. Candida albicans, because it's white. When it grows, you'll see this white furry thing, and when it gets in our body, you'll see it on our tongue. Our tongue will show whether or not you got yeast by that whiteness on there. Now, there's other pathologic forms of fungus that get into our body. Aspergillosis. Aspergillus is a black fungus. It's interesting, through my years of practicing medicine and looking at people's tongues and looking at the oral cavity, I've seen everywhere from a white tongue to a yellow tongue to a green tongue to a blue. A lady came in today with a blue tongue, and she hadn't eaten anything blue, and she had a blue fungus in her, but brown and black tongues. And when you see that growing on the tongue, you know it's growing in the system. And I did a form of tongue analysis. I learned from a Dr. Chi, who was a Chinese doctor who came to the United States. He was a medical doctor, and he switched over to alternative because he found the alternatives herbs were working better. He taught me how to read the tongue and look at the different parts of the tongue, and you could tell where the fungus was by where the fungus was growing on the tongue. And so if your tongue's completely white, you can be rest assured that fungus is throughout your body. So I'm going to stop this for